Hello everyone, and welcome to our first My Hero Ultra Impact gameplay video. Today we're going to be playing some PvP. As you can probably tell, I am extremely sick, but I want to get these videos out for you guys, so I want to start recording these My Hero videos as well as Dokkan videos on the channel. So, a quick rundown of how My Hero Ultra Impact works with battling here. Basically, there are a couple different kinds of attacks. You have your normal attacks, then you have your skills, that can be formed into a skill chain like you just saw, and you have your plus ultra attacks. Your plus ultra attacks are basically your like ultimate or finishing move. As you see, I have one on the left here that I can activate whenever I want. Now, the skill chain attacks build up your plus ultra gauge. As you just saw on screen, when you're doing these skill chain attacks, it tells you to get ready and then tap. If you successfully tap in the correct amount of time, you can build up your plus ultra gauge faster. You can increase your plus ultra gauge by up to 10, 20, or 30% depending on how many taps you get correctly in a row. So, right now I just used 2 plus ultras. There are normally animations for them, but I have them turned off. Just to make this go quicker in PvP. You can turn them on or off in the settings, like you can with most things. As you see, they're using skill change right now, and as you saw, it increased their plus ultra gauge by 20% because they used 2 of them and hit them successfully. Now, the team I'm going with here, they're just the best units I have currently available to me. The 2 URs that I pulled, the Momo and Aizawa, were my first 2 that they give you on your first multi, and I just kept them. And I haven't pulled another UR since, so I've been putting my resources into upgrading my SRs. And this Ochaco is very good in my opinion. So I've been using her, and she's been doing really well in PvP. So for the remainder of the matches, I'll be explaining like my thought process during the match and what's going on and why I'm doing what I'm doing. But for this first one, I wanted to give like a general rundown of how the fighting worked and what certain abilities were. So we finished off the last opponent there, and we'll be moving on to the next match. Every time you have a character fall in battle, by the way, they will be replaced with one of your sub-bench characters, as you can see on the screen now. Alright, moving on to our next opponent here. We are going up against a red, purple-red team. So I always start these out pretty much the same way. I go with Momo's Matryoshka AoE attack, Aizawa's Binding Cloth, and Ochaco's Wire Blow. I save Momo's heal for whenever I need it, and when I'm going into my second turn, I'll use a skill chain normally for Aizawa, and Ochaco, I'll use Ochaco's buff that increases our speed, and I'll use Aizawa's other skill. So the reason I always go with Aizawa's slam skill first is because it has a chance to seal the enemy. If we are going first, then we have a chance to seal one of their skill chain abilities, which is very good. And it won't increase their plus ultra gauge as much because they'll only be getting 20% instead of 30% because one of their skills has been sealed. Now right here, the enemy did what I expected, which was to mass target Ochaco because she has type disadvantage against the Endeavor and the Overhaul. And she ends up getting killed, which is fine. She's probably the least important of my 3 units, in my opinion. My Momo's my strongest one, and she has the heal. And the Aizawa I would put it second because he can do the sealing. The Todoroki attack that I just did, the Ice one, it is a AoE attack. And I fired that off just to get some more damage in and hopefully kill one for all, which we did. Now, my biggest weakness in going into PvP so far has been this Hado. She's very good, and she has type advantage over what I consider to be my best unit, the Momo. So, normally, when I go up against her, I like to target her first sometimes, but here I'm just going to go ahead and take out Endeavor because I knew we could one-shot him with my plus ultra. And even if Momo dies here, I think we're going to be alright because he's down to his last 2, and Todoroki's almost dead. So the Matryoshka ends up killing Todoroki, and Aizawa gets a 12,000 damage crit on her. So we pretty much secured the victory here. Just go ahead and fire off the plus ultra, just 100% to kill her. Even if we hadn't finished her off there and she had managed to somehow kill Momo, even though Momo was at full health, or finish off my Todoroki there, we would have been perfectly fine. I was more than confident in Aizawa being able to take her out. Her coming in so late and being a sub-unit, I figured they might not have her built up the whole way. But now we'll move on to our next match here. So sometimes when you load into these matches, you will get this little cutscene here, if two characters like have a correlation with each other. So here it's Midoriya and Ochako. It can happen with like All Might and Aizawa and a couple other people. But we're going up against the red, purple, purple team here, which is good because we have type advantage over everyone here. Midoriya might be able to mess up Ochako a little bit, but I'm not really worried about it. Gonna go with the same starting move as last time. Get the Bachoy Scout there, and then try to seal All for One. Attack him. We do not get the seal off, but again, I'm not really worried about it. We should be perfectly fine here. So on the next turn here, I'm definitely going to pop Momo's heal because Ochako's about at half health. Don't want her to get caught by an attack from Midoriya and just die. So I'm going to go ahead and get a skill chain going here with Aizawa and Momo. Fire off one of Aizawa's attack, and thankfully we kill All for One, and then pop the heal there. So now I'm pretty much just guaranteeing we've got this one in the bag. I'm not worried about any of his units on the field here. As far as I'm concerned, we pretty much just win in this situation. I don't think there's anything he can do to really have a comeback victory. I mean, he could target Ochako with his 2 red units, but even if she dies, it does not matter at all. He doesn't really have a way to kill Momo, and I don't think his Todoroki can do nearly enough damage to finish off Aizawa. They even targeted Ochako there, and she barely lost any health whatsoever. So, moving on to the next turn here, I'm going to go ahead and pop Aizawa's plus Ultra and wipe out his Todoroki there. And now with 3 red units on the field, there's nothing he can do. This match is over. I'm going to go ahead and pop Momo's plus Ultra here, and then I will do a skill chain with Aizawa and Ochako, and hopefully just wipe them out here. I'm going to go ahead and target Denki here because he basically has half health left already, and it's a good call because Aizawa goes ahead and wipes him out. Momo hits Kirishima with her ult there. He doesn't die, surprisingly, but again, we're in no position to worry. So on this turn, I'm going to go ahead and do a skill chain here with the Todoroki, Momo, and Aizawa. And there's just no way Midoriya is going to survive this. Aizawa is definitely going to finish him off here, which he does, hitting him for almost a 15k crit. And with that match, we're going to go ahead and move on to the next one, which will be our last match here in the video. So with this next match, we're going to be going up against a purple, red, purple team. They've got Midoriya and Endeavor on the bench. I'm going to go ahead and swap Todoroki onto the main rotation here. Because they've got all these red units, Ochako is going to be at a disadvantage. So Todoroki will fare probably a little bit better here. So we'll go ahead and start with him and see how things go for this match. I'm also going to take the Hawks out in the back and replace him with my blue Bakugo. Just because I think Bakugo will fare a little bit better again against all these red units. And I don't really ever need the Hawks anyways. So just in case, he's kind of like a last resort thing. Here's another one of those cutscenes I was talking about. This is the one between All Might and Aizawa. So we're going to go ahead and get started and do the same thing we do every time here. Using the same skill chain at the start, except instead of Ochako's, we'll be using Todoroki's ice attack that is also an AoE. Normally this team has pretty good speed and we end up going first, but there are matches where I will run into people that are a lot faster and go before my skill chain. Started out here targeting All for One. He's usually my target whenever he's on the field. He's a pretty good unit and he pairs very well with Shigaraki, so I like to get him out of the way as fast as possible. I'm going to go ahead and pop Momo's heal here because Todoroki took considerable damage and I don't want him to die. Should be able to finish off One for All on this turn. And we end up finishing them off, which is good because we can get another red unit here and have Momo basically wall them off. For this turn, I'm going to go ahead and pop Aizawa's plus Ultra. I'm going to target Shigaraki because Aizawa will do more damage to him. This attack by Midoriya isn't going to do anything, and just as I expected, Aizawa was able to one-shot Shigaraki. Now all he's got left are red units, and I don't think he's going to be able to win this match. He's at a very precarious spot here. He's not going to be able to kill by Momo, and we're going to be able to take him down here. So Aizawa might die here if they decide to target him because he has almost no health. He does end up dying, which is, again, fine. The Ochako comes out here. She won't be of much help, but, I mean, if they target her, we'll be in the clear. So I'm going to go ahead and pop both plus Ultras here from the Todoroki and the Momo. And then I'll pop Ochako's skill attack there. And we'll see what happens. So the Endeavor thankfully goes for Ochako and doesn't target my Todoroki with low health. And we end up finishing him off. Midori is the last unit standing here, and he's got practically no health, so just pop the skill chain and he should be dead. And that's the rest of that match. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'm going to be uploading some more of these videos along with Dokkan. Again, I apologize for sounding so sick, but thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time.